Go. And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You are joined again with your hosts, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX CRM, as well as Marshall Hill, Mr. Marty from the Pints and Polishing Podcast, as well as hyperClean Car Care Products. And Marshall has been a very, very busy man lately. It's been filming videos out the wazoo, man. That's why we had to postpone last week's episode because Marshall was dropping some gems that you guys are going to get to see as they slow release across the internet and take over. There you go. How's that for an intro?
Take over.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I know you will be able to do it. That's why. See, half of it is believing. You know what I mean? But I did see some of your sneak peek video stuff, and I'm insanely jealous because the girl that does our video stuff, she's okay, but there's little things that I just feel like I don't know if it's a thing because she used to do wedding photography stuff or if it's because yeah, for example, so at our dealership, selling cars, and a lot of people want to know what kind of tires are on the vehicle because we're in a certain tier. We're not selling like Honda Civics, things like that. I think cheapest car in the lot I think is like 75,000, something like that. So it's a different tier of customer, and the reason being is that those customers buy a car and then they go away, and then they send us referrals, and life goes on. But if you're selling a Honda Civic, we're talking to the guy for like 5 hours on the lot, and then another like 100 emails about like his financing and this. It's a big deal, and then he's coming back 2 months later after he bought a 15-year-old car, saying it's making this funny sound. Anyway, it's a different tier of people we're targeting, but they want to know, like buying a new Range Rover, something like that. What are the tires that are on it, so on and so forth. And when she takes the photos, the tire will be like turned in a certain angle that you can't see what it is, or there's like a little scuff of dirt because when the guys moved it out of the bay, things like that. And it's just little things that she then has to touch up, but you can't touch up turning the wheel, right? So it's just little things that drive me nuts when she does the photos and video. And she tried getting all fancy with the drone footage and stuff, which it's cool, but anyway, it's people just want to see the car itself. They don't need to see it at like 45 feet in the air.
Well, when people do drone footage right, and they're only like 10 feet in the air, it is cool.
Yeah, yes, because then it's like going around the car or something like that.
Yeah. In the technology around photography and selling cars has been really interesting. The way that's come together. Some dealerships will pay and outsource it. Some dealerships, when we had worked with them, we began trying to get them to source it to their detailers. Like let them, as soon as they're done cleaning it, let them go ahead and take pictures.
Yeah,
absolutely. Let's keep some money here in house, and let's get some money more flowing to our guys after they clean the car.
For sure.
It worked in some others. Upper management couldn't seem to figure out how to pay the guys. I don't know. It's
really
always,
a dealership. Yeah.
It's always been confusing ever since I got into them. Like working through dealerships and learning more about them. I mean, there's not. It's always been strange. Always been strange on the reconditioning side of their business. They just don't care about. They don't care. My partner Nick, he talks about. He's like, listen, dealerships, their number one job and what they're supposed to be great at is being a distributor first. They've got to distribute the cars, the new, that's primarily their job, and selling them cars, right? Like, yeah, I know, I get it. And that's all they talk about too. Like, I get it, but there's so much money to be made on recon, and everything that goes into prepping a vehicle for sale. There's a lot of money there, a lot.
Yeah. But it's true. See, that's where like
they don't want to listen. I don't know. It's strange. Like, don't want to listen. Well, there was one group, we got them over 100. Let's see, it was $152,000 per month.
Beautiful.
But their chemical sales rose to 7.
Okay, jeez,
they weren't happy. They came in like, we're gonna come look at you. I'm like, look at me. What are you talking about? Look at your massive increase. What are you looking at me for?
Yeah.
Couldn't believe that they were spending more on chemicals. I'm like, I just made you a lot more money. What the hell are you talking about?
Like, how you think you're going to
So
get
they
there?
pulled the plug on so many stuff. We did this in even F&I offices did it too. You know, if you start making too much money on sealants and selling stuff, they have to change inner workings so that money gets fed different ways through their business, and then people stop wanting to sell stuff because they don't make as much money. And it's like, guys, do you understand what we just did? We worked with detailers to make
Yeah,
more money here at this dealership, and now you want to cut their throats? Like, why? We
yeah.
made you more
Just
money
keep the
because
ball
they're making
rolling.
more money. You don't
They
want to
should
do
be
it? Like,
inject more money into it. That's what I
yeah.
like.
But detailers at dealerships, a lot of them are treated like redheaded stepchild. They really
Yeah,
are. They're
yeah,
treated pretty bad. They
yeah,
really are. Very little respect. Even the salesmen just come drop off car. Now, there are salesmen that do a good job of selling, and they do a good job of making sure that their customers handled. So they take care of the detailers. Some do.
yeah.
But most salesmen just
Most,
throw the
yeah,
keys, come fucking get this car cleaned up. Like,
yeah, yeah. Get it out the door, gone. You
yeah, it's
know, it's like,
bad.
yeah,
And
it's
then we
true.
want a lot of detailers outside of the dealership want to hate on dealerships for their detailing. It's like, guys, you're talking about people here, and
Yeah,
these people are handcuffed.
yeah. It's
They're
true.
handcuffed.
That's the big
Uh,
thing. They are handcuffed a
They are.
lot.
A lot of these detailers would like to do more, and they pride themselves in work, but they're
They just
handcuffed.
can't. Part of their
Yeah,
process is, like
yeah.
you might have a guy that's a really good chef working at McDonald's, and then you eat his burger and you're like, fuck, that was disgusting. And it's like, well, what's he supposed to do? He's got to follow a very specific process. He's told what to do, and if he steps out of that bounds, like it's not the area you could just freestyle it and be like, oh, I really
Let's
like
go
when I do this on the
Chipotle.
car.
Let's not go McDonald's. Come on, chef at McDonald's. Come on. What are we
Yeah,
talking here?
fair enough.
That's just a frozen patty. What are we talking about?
Okay, this is true.
Let's go
Good
like
call. Good
Chipotle
call.
or something.
There we go. All right, that's fair. Yeah, and I found, because of that, our sweet spot has been the dealers that we do work with some that have their own, like they have detailers in-house, but the volume that they have exceeds that. But what we found is that they ended up sending us more stuff, and then their own detailers eventually just got whittled down to less and less and less that they had in-house. But I will say that that's few and far between, and it's mostly because where our shop is located, there's just it's almost like an industrial park of just there's dealership after dealership after dealership. So there's tons for us to choose from, and there's a couple that get it, and then there's some that just, we've worked with some that we don't work with anymore because they were treating us almost as if, like how you said, like with their own in-house detailers, and it wasn't the kind of way we wanted to run our business, so we dropped them. But we found our sweet spot was the guys that didn't have a bay, which obviously they have a need for it, right? But what we found is that they were usually ones that, because they didn't have a massive location, they were dealing with a certain, pedigree of customer, and we found that they understood that they would be able to move more volume because they were getting a lot more referrals when the car looked a certain way. And that had to do with a conversation, and then us just showing them that, look, we can still do it within a certain time, and we can make sure it's a flat rate for each vehicle. So they bring us something, it could be something that's almost never been driven and it's perfectly clean, or something that's filthy and we charge them a flat rate for it. So they have that expectation of they can kind of predict their costs. And I think that's where a lot of dealerships, they kind of get a little, not up in arms, but when it's unpredictable, they're like, okay, listen, I understand you want to spend, 4 hours on the car, 6 hours on the car, but we only have a budget for two. They don't, and so you got to look at things as what's the real expectation. And then, but that's where a conversation needs to be had and be like, okay, well, listen, why don't we, make classes like tiers? So if they're customers that maybe put in a different block, like these are VIP customers, something like that, put a different sticker on the windshield. So when it comes in, we know it gets, this treatment or so on and so forth. And then if it's some guy that's been giving you a hard time, just put the yellow sticker on it. We'll give it the old basic wash, So there's conversations you can have. That's where I think a lot of people are scared to work with dealerships because of the stigma that's out there. And it very much does exist. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity if you have the right conversations with them. But, it's similar, as you said, though, there's some of them where even if you're bringing them a lot more, you're turning the wheels, they might look at it and be like, yeah, you brought us an extra 150K, but like, why is our cost with you 8? And it's like, well, fuck, man, like, do the math here. Makes sense.
your guys made more money. You made more money. You don't think I should make more money? I had one GM look at me and go, "You're making too much money." Excuse me? I've serviced your account for 10 years. What do you mean I'm making too much money? I haven't raised my prices. What do you mean? I'm making too much money?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm making too little. Like, give me more.
I seen your house. I know where you live, motherfucker. Right?
Jeez,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you want to
It's
be
always
like,
those ones too,
motherfucker.
huh?
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
really? Yeah, right. Point blank in a meeting. You're making
Jesus.
too much money.
Jesus. Yeah, that's yeah, and because sometimes the person making that statement or that decision isn't the one that's fully in the chain of value.
Oh, hell
You know
no,
what I
he's
mean?
not. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's just looking at the
Mhm.
raw numbers,
Mhm.
and you know, he's like, how can we cut this back? You know, and I mean, if they don't try, they never do cut their expenses, and it just gets out of control, right? It balloons. But you know, yeah, you got to see things. You know,
Interesting. We would always talk about, even then, it was quality of product and what we were doing, quality of service, because cool, yeah, get it. You want to save some money? Watch out. You know,
yeah,
wait for all these other extra expenses that are going to come, which we started hearing about: burnt plastics, burnt trims, flash
yeah,
marks on metals. I mean, there's a reason I know that stuff happens. Right? I mean,
yeah,
the reason
exactly,
we craft our products not to do that is because
exactly.
I know who sells them. Like, I've
Yeah,
seen them. I've seen them going on. Like, I mean,
you've seen it in action, exactly.
in
That's where,
action. So
yeah. That's the whole thing, you know, if you look at the whole year as a whole, instead of a particular month or something of expenses, and you start to realize, like, that's where you factor in the costs of like damage that's done and things like that. And you start to realize, oh shit, you know, because consistency is key. And so if you
yeah,
consistently have good results, you know,
listen. And if detailers are going like, well, what's not okay? Let's go back to that TikTok phenomenon that happened where you had to spray some cheap tire cleaner on twice, and it was this, yeah, we're
uh,
going to clean it twice to make sure we get it. No, you're using a cheap product, and that's why you have to do it twice.
yeah,
Like, come on.
yeah.
It's TRX, spray it on, let it sit, use a brush, rinse it off, bada bing, bada boom.
But
Hey,
how many times though? Three,
uno,
three, four?
hey,
Yeah, it's
all
so
one
true though.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane, and that's where, you know, the right products and stuff, it makes a
It
big
does.
difference. And
It
as you mentioned,
does.
you used a really good word there, crafted, and that's where it's, you know, because we all talk about craft, right? What's your craft? Our craft is detailing, and
Hmm.
you know, and so when something is crafted in a specific way, you're going to get those kind of results that you're seeking versus something that it's just put on shelves really to move units, and it may be popular in some instances, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to deliver what the results you want, right? But
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's where a lot of dealerships will buy it because, you know, oh, I can get this much for this price, and that's
Oh,
all
I
they're
can
focused
get it in a
on.
drum. I get it in a tote. I mean,
Exactly,
how cheap can I get it? Well, depends on how much
exactly.
solvent you want in there.
It's true, and you know the
How
crazy
much you
part is,
want caustic,
yeah, and the chemicals are always, in my opinion, the cheapest part of this whole process. Like labor is expensive, you know, like
Labor's where you should
employees.
spend your money. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I think that you know, like that's how a lot of people ask me, like, can you send me a list of your process, how you guys clean cars so fast and stuff? And it's like, well, I pay my guys well, and we make sure that we put the right amount of people on each job. And so there's certain tasks in a detail that really that's a one man or woman job, period. But then there's some things where you can multiply, you can add people to it, and it will go faster, you know, but it depends what it is, because certain things, if you try and add too many people for the entire process, they're tripping over each other, someone's standing there not doing anything, stuff like that. So all we did was just break down our process into jobs that require, or you know, just one person, or ones that could have two. And then what we do is we get, if it's two-person jobs, we get them to tackle those first, two people going at it, boom, it's done, and then we get the one-person jobs finished up. And I don't know, it's just a process, you know. You look at your thing, that's where we have this new guy. Anyway, love him to bits. He's honest as the day is long. He's really approachable. He's friendly. He's everything. But oh my God, one of our guys was watching him clean a window, and then he sent me a video, and he was literally just like going like this. It was like watching paint dry. I was like, oh my God, you know, little things like that. And so it may sound silly, but you realize, okay, maybe his strengths aren't windows. And that might seem crazy because you want one guy to finish a whole detail, but we look at someone's strengths. But this guy I'm talking about, he's really good at other aspects of like the detail. So we just get him doing all that, and we tell him, don't touch the windows at all. And so then we just have another guy sub in, and he goes, when that car is ready, he just goes and he does all the windows and mirrors. That's it. And it sucks. I wish every employee was a complete package, but you know, they each have their individual strengths. And I think that's where we just take a look at our business. You know, a lot of people want to fine tune other stuff in their business. I get it a lot with OrbisX questions like, oh, I wish I could do this or that, you know, and it's, there's other things in your business. I think that like a lot of it's operational. It's not so much like, oh, the technology could do, technology is not going to make this guy clean windows faster. You know what I mean? So it's, there's certain things that if you pick apart your business, you'll find vast improvements that way. Anyway, that this doesn't count as a tip, by the way. It's just advice.
Whoa!
That was just advice.
This wasn't part of the six
No, that's not my list.
bouquet of tips.
Yeah.
Oh my word!
So I do
This
have
is
a
like
big
the
bouquet
extra.
today.
That was
Yeah.
like 4. I mean, jeez.
I have a
Going
big
for a 12-pack
bouquet
here.
today.
12-pack
So
of tips.
12-pack of tips.
Not
Yeah.
how deep you fish, right? It's how you wiggle your worm.
What
And
happens
how
when
many
we miss a
worms you
week?
got,
See?
I guess, maybe, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Worms all day, baby. Yeah. Don't run out. We don't run out over here on the off the clock show. Oh man, but yeah. So you know, on that note, I'll jump in because I do have quite the list here. I'll throw out a few at least. All right. So, but so one of them we were talking about prior to the show, and we were touching base on, you know, how we talked about last time where you support teams and so on and so forth. So we've done something recently where we piggyback on other businesses that are doing things, or other sport teams and things like that. So if there's a sport team, for example, and they just won their championship and they're giving trophies to the kids, stuff like that, you know, we troll some of them and we'll say like, hey, congrats, Timmy, on your win. And by the way, your parents just won $250 gift card to Auto World, you know, stuff like that. It works though. It is effective. But the big one for us is there's a massive dealership. Speaking
I'm
of
gonna pretend
dealership,
like I heard you didn't say you troll Timmy. I'm just gonna pretend like
no, we troll the team. We troll the team.
There you go.
Jimmy just happened to win. All right, thanks. Jesus, didn't even realize. But so we troll other businesses as well, primarily in the auto industry, but some of them are just random. You know, some of them are, there's some restaurants nearby us and they do contests, things like that. And so we pay attention to see any news they have happening, things like that, any sort of social phenomenon that we can jump on board with. And so a good one is there's a massive dealership near us, and they're called Autos, and they basically sell BMWs. That's all they sell. And so
So
anyone
you're
that,
Auto World and they're autos.
yes, but they're
Like
Autos.
just
It's
like auto like the
OTTO.
movie?
No. It's
Okay. Yeah, like the
OTTOS.
movie. Auto.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
there's this new, was it Netflix, I think? OTTO.
Oh, sure. I see.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Why can't I think of the guy's name?
Autos.
Forrest Gump. Who's Forrest Gump?
Oh my God. His Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. That's it. Yeah.
Tom Hanks plays this auto guy who's as older now, and he's kind of has some interesting habits and has this single family move in, single mom with daughter move in. So it's a good movie.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out.
It's spelled like that, OTTO.
OTTO. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, it must be his last name or something. But because I think that's what it is in this case too. But every BMW in our city, pretty much, I'm telling you, like 9 out of 10, the license plate, it says Autos on it. Not the actual plate number, but the like the frame, the dealer frame, it says Autos, and you just know they're the biggest one, man. They're massive, and they often do contests. They often do customer appreciation things, like just all kinds of stuff that a dealership does. But they do a lot of promos online, basically. And so we troll, you know, their Facebook, their YouTube, their this, their that. And a few things that we do are, you know, when they have contests, we'll do the same thing, follow up with the winner as well, because it's a good way to tap into that, someone that's interested in cars. And when they become a customer, we upload them into our Facebook thing where you can upload your lookalike lists, and then it'll target their friends and family and stuff like that as well. Because what we found is when someone buys from Autos, usually they recommend, like usually a family member's looking for a car and they're like, oh, go to Autos, 100% go to Autos. You know, you want a BMW, go to Autos. And so we target them and we make everything very BMW specific because we know they only sell BMWs. Now, The other thing we do is we take a look at, other things that they've got going on. Let's say it's, I don't know, they just sold a car. They usually post a picture of the person with the car on a sign and whatever. We know that they have these post sale videos that they send to all their customers, and their customers go check them out. It's like how to care for your BMW, scheduling, how to this, that, all different types of things that they have with them. And so what we do is we target those videos as well, and we target customers. So they run ads on these post sale videos, and we target the ads, and you can specify channels, you can specify specific video links, things like that. So we target those ones as well. And we run things for Auto World, and we're like, hey, hope you're enjoying your new BMW from Autos. By the way, and we jump into our thing, so it's a good way to kind of someone else is doing, right? And so I've been thinking about that a lot lately, in how we can, Mother's Day is coming, spring is here, all these different things. It's promotion time, right? But there's a lot of noise out there. And so looking at other ways to break through the noise or find places that are less noisy where you can advertise your business. And it may be a bunch of different little noiseless pockets. They may be smaller, but it's highly effective because you're the only one that's screaming in that place, right? And so that's where we were talking before the show. Like I was thinking about the ballet class that my daughter went to.
Yeah, you found
And
the perfect spot.
it's a
Literally
perfect one. No
perfect.
detailer out there.
Off the clock, drop. Like, I don't care. You
Yeah.
hear this anywhere. All you that are out stealing, don't heard it off
Yeah.
clock show.
Right here. Boom. Ballet, dance studios, things like no detailer out there is thinking about that. You know what I mean? Myself too. I hadn't thought of it. We were talking, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, my daughter, she went to this ballet class. Anyway, the parents there, a good thing is it's generally more affluent people that are putting their kids in those classes because it's expensive. It's not cheap. And also they share a lot of things in common. So you have to think like you're an FBI negotiator, not negotiator, but what are those people that a profiler? You got to think of a profiler. It's in the word. You got to think like a profiler and think about what do those people have in common and where does that overlap with your business. And so for us, the big takeaway is a lot of those people have OCD. A lot of them are clean freaks. Like you go in there, that place is spotless. They line up all their shoes. They this that. They care about their cars, and the cleanliness. Their cars, their homes. Those would be good targets, right? And so for us, we do flat glass. That could be perfect as well. So there's different things you can do for the
Listen, I
dance
think
industry
they
for those
would.
people.
Mobile detailers should target them.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile
Oh,
detailers should target them.
100%.
They will
100%.
love to have a clean car maintained, not
Yeah.
this $500 every time. I mean, this is maintenance, right?
Yeah.
Like
These would be
you will
perfect
need to make
maintenance
sure that
customers.
this is a maintenance program for them,
Yep.
and they would be perfect for maintenance
Oh,
programs.
man,
Absolutely.
absolutely. If that was me, if I didn't have my own shop, oh my God, if someone was like, some ad about like, taking daddy's little princess to ballet, of course I want it clean for her to get in there and it just be clean for the ride. You know what I mean? Like there's so much you can do. And the cool part is a lot of them too will have like a community board with events that are going on, stuff like that. And talking with the owners, you could maybe be like, hey, listen, I want to put together something for the
Yeah,
people.
you got to do something. You got to, I don't know, is this one of those times you give away something? Like you give away a cleaning or something,
I'm
right?
always a fan
I
of
know
giving
you
something
are.
away.
I know.
Yeah, because I know the cost of acquiring a customer, and I know what our lifetime
Mm-hmm.
acquisition cost is and our lifetime value of the customer is. So for me, I'm a fan of it. But it also is because we have a really good upsell process in place. If
Mm-hmm.
if you're not very comfortable upselling, you might be more hesitant to give something away. But that's where you can kind of give stuff away without giving stuff away in a way. Like you could run a contest where maybe you are giving something away, but to one person, but now you're collecting a list of everyone that goes to that dance class, and all the parents. And so then you could reach out to each of them and sell them. So you're giving one thing away, but you're selling 20 or 50, so there's ways you could do it. But definitely, I think you could also think about something that they might be interested in. And then maybe what you could do is a co-promotion. So if you go see some
There you
other
go.
businesses and you give their stuff away.
Instead of giving
Yeah,
away your service and your time and your
exactly.
money, yeah,
Now you
see if
give away
somebody
some other
else
people's
wants to give
stuff. And
something away. Or
yeah,
you've talked about retargeting. I wonder if, most of these places, I know we have it's Team Snap. So we
okay,
have
yeah,
this app that there's a like if you don't pay for it, then you get ads back on it,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
you get
yeah,
hit with ads. I'm sure most of the people pay. So,
yeah.
but you could go that
But
direction,
there's a chunk that,
or I bet you, I guarantee you, old Zuckerberg's got a way to market
oh yeah,
to dance people
100%.
in
And you
your
could probably
area.
even on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook too, you can go to that particular business and you can target people that have liked
Mm-hmm.
that business,
Mm-hmm.
because if they're, if my wife probably has liked the dance class that we took our daughter to, I'm sure she has, because they send us all kinds of stuff and, visit our Facebook page. A lot of their updates are there. For sure, my wife has liked the page, and it's, so that would be perfect targeting, and that's the kind of thing that I think it's outside of the box thinking. And I really like that idea too with the co-promotion. I'm going to work on something like that because don't get me wrong, I like giving stuff away if I have to because I know we'll get the money back. But if I can do it without giving something away, it is better. So I'm going to look into that because I'm a big fan of co-promotion and piggybacking on things. But I think that piggybacking on other businesses or other community events or things that are going on in your city, that's a key way to get into business, and it's super effective. So I do have a quick little story, and I guess it falls in line with the tip. Is there was a cannabis company here called Stoked. So it's Stoked with a D at the end, not like Stokes, like these are bookstores. And anyway, Stoked, but we have really strict rules here on advertising cannabis. So you can sell cannabis, it's legal, but you can't actively advertise it, which is a strange thing. 'Cause it's like, how am I supposed to sell something I can't advertise, right? So there's a marketing agency in Vancouver.
We
Go
would
ahead.
might understand it as beer companies here or alcohol companies can't actually show somebody
Drinking a
drinking or
beer. Yeah,
consuming the beer.
that's true.
They
They
can
can
only
hold it.
just they can hold it, they can
Yes.
be in an environment.
Yeah, but God forbid, don't show them enjoying it,
Hmm.
Ooh, exactly. And so there's all these like strange laws out there, right? And so how did they overcome the laws? And this is where you can use similar type things in your marketing. Is they did this campaign. It was called Next To. So they couldn't advertise their business, so they went to businesses around their business and they said, "Hey, can we run some campaigns advertising your business? And then we're just at the end of the ad going to say next to our business, so you can find us next to the cannabis place next to Stoked." So they ran this campaign and they were able to get away with it. They didn't get any, penalties or anything like that. And they also beat the Facebook algorithm, which was heavily designed to take down any ads that were for cannabis companies, things like that. And so they would use a lot of terminology in the ads. So they had one, it was a used clothing store, that's what it was. And it said, "Come see our half baked sales on, I don't know, it was like the very calming clothes." They used a lot of like different terminology that would be relating to cannabis culture. And then they said, "Visit us at whatever the address is, right next to Stokes Dispensary." And so that's when they started pushing it out there. And so a lot of people at the end of the ad, you hear all these like catchphrases, and then all you hear is right next to Stokes Cannabis Dispensary. And you're like, oh shit, Stokes Cannabis Dispensary, so that's what sticks. So anyway, their ad was hugely successful, and it was because they piggybacked off of businesses that were next to. And it's that kind of out of the box thinking that you got to start looking around the community. If you're wondering, where can I advertise? If you just start pumping money into Google for, top keywords like detailing in whatever city you're in, you're going to be paying top dollar because everybody else is doing the same thing. And it's because it's the lazy route, it's the easy route. Everybody's going to do it. That's why your cost is going to go up because Google operates like an auction. So it's whoever's going to pay the most in that moment for that keyword gets displayed. And so that's why you put in these things called bids, because it's an auction. So if you want to avoid that, there's a lot of ways that you can advertise in other places and other ways. And so if you're nearby a dance studio or something like that, you could literally run ads for, Dancing Ottawa, or like that's where I am, or something like that. And then you could find the top places and you could be like Auto World Ottawa for all your detailing needs right next to whatever. And chances are people aren't going to click on it, so you're not even really going to pay anything anyways, and you're still going to get those impressions. And the ones that do, whatever you had in your ad is going to pique their interest. So there's a lot of ways you can break through the noise that way, but definitely partnering with local businesses, doing some co-op advertising, stuff like that. That's how I would target. Well, actually, that's how I'm going to target the dance studios around us, and I think it's a great market. So at that too, I'm at two. Okay.
Are you, or was that just your first one? That's what I'm trying to
kind of
decide.
just one, but
Was
we'll
that
go with
3 and 1, or is that
it was
just
one plus a
one?
story. I don't know. What's the story? You know what? Okay, here we go. To piggyback off that, a great example of I'll transition into this because this is another one for creative thinking and stuff like that. So playoffs, hockey playoffs, everything like that. You know, like November and stuff, people don't shave.
Oh,
They
I
have
don't know what that is. What's hockey?
okay, fair enough. It's so they have this little stick, right? And so and there's a thing called the puck.
Oh,
I have
golf.
no idea why, but it's called the puck. So,
So
yeah.
this weekend, Happy Gilmore was on. Fucking hilarious.
Mm. I think they're
Still one
making a
of my
new one,
favorite movies.
a
Are they
remake.
really?
I think
There's a
so.
Gilmore too?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I heard it's in the works. I can't wait
Oh,
to be
that's
honest.
awesome. Me too.
Trust
I
me.
mean, I just laughed. I walked by and just started laughing. Like,
Yeah,
great
yeah.
movie.
Tap it in. Tap, 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 taparoo. Yeah.
Don't you want to go to your home, ball? Go to your home.
Yeah, exactly.
Just filled of one-liners. I mean, the fight with Bob Barker is still the
Oh
best. Like
my.
when the very first time I saw that, like I literally, I don't know that I've ever laughed so hard
Mhm.
because
You
it's
know,
Bob
so good.
Barker,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
He's Bob
And the way he
Barker, and
was
they're
like,
rolling
look
down a
at
hill. Like, what the fuck?
you're gonna get it, Bob. He's like, it was the best. Yeah, myself as well. I haven't laughed that hard. And then I had an opportunity to rewatch it with my kids. That's the cool thing, you know, like as your
Oh
kids get
yeah,
older, you
absolutely.
rewatch all these
Yeah.
movies. Oh my God. And then hearing their laughter and then mine. Oh, yeah, it was the best. Yeah, so I think I'll check on the dates for that, but I'm pretty sure I heard something that there's a second one in the, or I don't know what they're calling it, a remake or something. But I don't know what the storyline exactly is going to be, but it's going to be him like later on. Anyway, it'll be funny as balls for sure. But yeah, so playoffs. So we have during the playoffs, I think it was the Boston Bruins that started it, but there was one season they weren't shaving their beards, and they started winning and they started this and that, and so a lot of the other players were catching on from other teams, so they stopped shaving as well, and then it became the no shave. I think it's November or something. Anyway, it became a thing, and so it's in the playoffs. They don't shave. Well, a lot of people came around saying, modern times, saying, "Oh, this is maybe a little sexist because the women can't participate," and so on and so forth. And so they were thinking of what to do. And this is where paying attention to what's going on in your community and what's going on in the world
Community.
around you, community. There we go. Paying attention to what's going on in the world around you is key for looking for those quick marketing opportunities where something could take off, something could go viral. Even if viral, most people think it means like worldwide, you're a phenomenon, like Gangnam Style. No, sometimes it could be within your community, you could go viral, right? So there's opportunities
Community.
for you to piggyback on something. Oh my God, you're gonna get me hammered. But so what happened during the playoffs was, a lot of people were saying it's possibly sexist and this and that, and they were advocating that they should stop doing it because, like the equal rights, yada yada, all this stuff, which is, something to consider.
Hey,
However,
but now we're gonna have transgender players, so now the women's
it
sports
won't
will be
matter.
able to
Yeah,
they'll be able
exactly,
to participate. All good, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So, so the company
That
Nair
was not
though,
a political statement.
no,
It was not. It's
it was
just
just
a
a thing.
statement.
Just a statement, exactly. No politics here. It's off the clock. But that's where Nair, the hair removal company. So they, yeah. So now here we are. They came out with this thing called playoff legs, where the
They're gonna
women
be
would,
loved by the transgendered.
oh, 100%. So the women would grow out their legs during November during the same time, and then Nair's whole campaign was that you know grow out your playoff legs during the playoffs so you can join in and participate, and then afterwards we'll be there to
Oh,
help
good
you
for them. Good for
take it
them.
away,
That's
right?
cool. Okay, I get
So
it. I get
yeah,
it now.
yeah. So it was a good way that they saw an
I thought
opportunity
Nair
that was
was going to
there.
go after the beards
Oh, the beards,
of the
yeah. No,
transgendered. That's what I thought.
no.
But they're going
No,
after the legs of the actual women. Okay, good for
yes,
you.
exactly.
Much better. Much
Yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah, much
Yeah.
better, much better. And so absolutely,
Not
Jesus.
so niche. Much
Yeah, no,
better.
no, no. That's much better. Yeah, safer. So they put this whole campaign together just because they saw this opportunity that was there, and they created the whole situation. It didn't exist. No one was talking about playoff legs and this and that. They created a whole thing to which they had the solution, right? So if you can think about some things that's going on in the community, stuff like that, and spot these kind of opportunities, you can do a similar thing and create a situation. And so don't know what that might be in your neck of the woods, but it's something that you should give some thought to in 2024. Okay, so now that is 2. That's 2 for sure. Okay.
We're going to 6?
I do still have a list with
You
some.
sure maybe we go 3 and maybe 3 the next time? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a lot of
We can do that. I
that's
got
beyond tips. Like that's
all right, yeah, that's
that's
well,
like I mean 6 tips equals 1
all
pump,
right.
doesn't it? I
All
mean,
right,
come
that's
on.
fair. That's fair. So you know
A
what?
full
Okay.
pump is 6
I'll
tips.
Yeah, that's true. After that, someone's pregnant. So okay,
I mean, come on. How many tips you get?
Twins. Okay, so I tell you what, I got one last one I'll drop today, and then I'll postpone the next ones for.
All right, before you do, let's
So,
break in
yes, sir.
there. Let's do a commercial
Right.
break. Did you
I'm down.
no talk about the did it happen in Canada? You guys just had a sunshine day yesterday? No,
The
nothing?
eclipse. We
I mean,
actually
geez,
did just
yeah.
have a sunshine day. It was barely an eclipse here. Yeah, barely.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe like 60 seconds. So there's a city not far from here, Kingston.
gone in
in Niagara
60
Falls.
seconds, huh?
Yeah, gone in 60 seconds. That was
Nicolas
it.
Cage, great
The-
movie.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. The only thing that really happened here was the birds were going nuts. That was it. And then it got slightly darker for 30 seconds and then right back to sunshine. But further down, we have this main highway here called the 401. They call it the Beast because there's so many trucks that go down it, like tractor trailers. Anyway, it's a long road. But it goes passes through Toronto, Niagara Falls, all those big cities. And if you were in Niagara Falls or Kingston, anything that follows the 401 corridor, basically you would have had 3 minutes of just darkness. It goes dark and then comes back. And so the city I was born in, Kingston, there's this
like full
Fort Henry.
darkness.
Full darkness, yeah, totality. Yeah, it was like
Wow.
nuts. Yeah, it was pretty
I
crazy.
saw a video in Chile. They were all on the beach and they showed it going across and you could hear everybody screaming and yelling.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
we didn't have full darkness. We just had partial.
yeah. Man, it was crazy. I'll send you a video. It was nuts. There were people traveling from like New York State, everything. They were traveling up to Kingston because that's one of the areas where it was passing by. Apparently, it's not going to happen there again for like, I don't know, 300 years or something in that exact spot. But at this fort that's built there, it's Fort Henry. It was built to when we were fighting with you guys. When we almost became one of the states, we were almost a star on that spangled banner. But yeah, when we anyway, we built this fort to try and protect ourselves, apparently, and now it's just a star lookout gazing place. They still shoot cannons there and stuff as like ceremonies. I don't know why, but anyway, that's our whole military just fights with plastic spoons. But aside from that, we it's a good place to look at the stars if you want to, and it was passing right over there. So my dad went because he lives in Kingston, but I didn't go because there was going to be like 500,000 cars or something rolling up there.
Shawn, the great thing, your national heritage, your national massive thing is maple syrup.
Yeah, 100%.
It's okay, man. Nobody wants to come take over. We just like, okay, that's enough.
At the
That's enough
time
blood.
it was beaver pelts. Yeah, at the time it was beaver pelts, and they were.
And I guess we were done with beaver pelts.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Yeah, the beaver trade just went away, and then now it's just strip clubs in Montreal. So we went from beaver to beaver. So that's okay. That's okay. Big business here. That and maple syrup, but yeah. Well, I think that's why
export maple syrup. Yeah, we're good. They don't really have anything up there. Just cold.
Yeah.
We'll stay away.
Yeah.
Let them have what they have.
Exactly. Thanks. Just that and water, but we can't even say
free healthcare. Nah, you guys keep it.
Yeah, it's not even free, so don't even get me started on that. Holy fucking our government here. Oof, anyway, that's a whole nother. We won't get political, but yeah, we did have a lot. Well, we do have a lot of water, but a lot of it's been sold off. So Coca-Cola has been buying up entire lakes because they need so much water for their
America.
Yeah, exactly. which is great, and then they turn it into sugar water and sell it back. Yeah,
absolutely. We can mix it with whiskey. We're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's brutal, but we have a lot of laws actually now that prevent certain foreign investment, mostly targeting Chinese companies because they've been buying up like forests and things like that. because they're running out of resources that aren't painted, right? And so they expand, and we have so much like forest here, it's crazy. So makes sense, you know. But then they buy it, chop it, sell it to you guys. You guys refine it, send it back to us as plywood, and we pay a premium. Yeah, it's nice. Nice, man. Woo! Community.
Community.
Mhm.
All right,
And we have
so I really appreciated it in a sense of what you just talked about. That's why I wanted to bring it up. And I appreciated the detailers that I saw walking out of their shop and having their glasses on and using a moment that was happening to
yeah,
not go crazy with like, oh, look at it. Just they have the logo in the background, maybe logo on it, which is why we say always wear a logo on your shirt, you
yeah,
know. And then they just talked about, you know, the solar eclipse and stuff. Like, I guarantee you people watch those videos. And if they would have shown something, right? Some type of, some people would be like, oh, that's terrible. I can't believe you put that. But how many people were just wanting to grab a
yeah,
glimpse of everything happening? And if you would have done that with your logo, what would have done? I don't know. But I can just
yeah,
appreciate the detailers that went, hey, we're gonna go ahead and get glasses. We're gonna go ahead and plan to be ready to shoot a video around the eclipse.
yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's smart. Absolutely. See, that's where paying attention to things that are going on and then using
Absolutely.
those to, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think it's key, you know. And if you look, you can literally plan a whole year's worth of stuff just around things that are happening, you know.
And I think I would have gone, hey, and if you used to drive an eclipse, people be like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
regret, man, I said we skipped over. I
yeah,
really meant to talk about it yesterday on the Pines Polishing podcast. The eclipse,
yeah,
the car.
yeah. The
Like,
Mitsubishi. Yeah, yeah.
man,
I used to have one.
like, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
had a
my
gray
sister
one.
used to have one. Yeah.
Yeah,
She had a
yeah,
gray one too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
But
really interesting car. Not far different than the Saturn. If you remember the Saturn, like
yeah,
both felt just as let me just go ahead and say cheap.
yeah, yeah,
I could literally hear I felt like I was Fred Flintstone. I'm like, maybe I could
yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
start pedaling or something. Like I was like, I could hear everything.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
mean, they were interesting cars. That Eclipse Spider though,
yeah. Man,
Eclipse
I'm telling
Spider
you.
was once you got like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was there was a there, and then there was the Spider convertible.
Yeah, yeah. And, man, it was back then, that was a thing.
Hmm.
I
It
don't know if
was.
it's true, but I supposedly they're doing some sort of, I don't know, what do you call those things where it's not like a demo car?
It's now called Eclipse. So it went out. I think it was 2012. So 2012 was the last
2012, I think, yeah.
Spider and the last Eclipse. But
Mhm.
now they've come out with Eclipse crossover. Eclipse Cross, I
Okay.
think is what it's called.
Okay,
Eclipse
yeah. I knew there
Cross,
was
and it's a
something from,
crossover.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
like an SUV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But they still tried
Mm-hmm.
to keep the same, you know, the bubbly kind of,
Mm-hmm. Not the same, right?
not the same. No.
Man, listen. Besides you, you were getting it to get the chicks. I get it, but pretty
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
you know, there was a
Oh,
lot of
it
hot
was,
chicks that used to drive around in that
yeah, yeah,
Eclipse.
yeah. So here's the thing though, is
It was a
because
car back in the day.
the girl I was living with at the time, you know, we were together for almost 2 years, and that was her like dream car. So I picked that up, and that's
You
why.
what, right?
But
And it
then,
was Mitsubishi, and it became a dream.
yeah, yeah,
Interesting, right? We think
yeah,
of Mitsubishi and we go, huh? There's
yeah,
listeners
yeah,
now are going, Mitsubishi? What's that? Like,
yeah, yeah.
huh?
Although, you know what,
Like,
I will say,
oh, that was just a
surprisingly,
truck.
yeah,
One of those small
exactly,
little
yeah,
trucks, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what they're
yeah,
known for. Like, they
yeah.
kill it in that market. Didn't do
Oh
so
man,
well in the convertible coupe market.
yeah, not so much. No, I used to have a Pajero when we lived in the Caribbean, and I don't know what the equivalent would be in North American. I don't know, but it
We
was like a
don't
little
have. We don't
SUV. It
have.
looked
Yeah.
almost like a Suzuki. What the hell's that one? The like the small little Jeep.
Sidekick.
Maybe, yeah. Mine was 4 door, so I don't know. Do they make those in 4 door? I think so.
You reach my level of car guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're like that's about it. Fair enough. But
Knowing two
it
to
was a
four door on a car 20 years
small
ago.
little
Sorry,
SUV.
man.
Yeah, but I tell you, it was a year 2000. Speedometer didn't work. I was stuck in 4-wheel drive. Like there was just like, it's what happens. You know, all the cars came from Japan, and anyway, it's but
Me,
they
that
were
was
like,
my Samurai. I had a Samurai. It
okay,
locked up in 5th gear, and it was a standard.
Oh man,
Not fun to go to a stoplight in 5th gear. Not fun.
no, holy
Not fun.
shit. Jesus, yes.
Mhm.
Fortunately, mine was automatic, but it was just stuck in 4-wheel drive, which was, you know, not terrible. But I tell
Not
you, for
terrible.
year 2000, it had features in it that I didn't see in like some North American cars until, I don't know, 4 or 5 years later. It was wild. Like it was far ahead of its time. And I always found that with Mitsubishi, they like electronics and stuff like that. They were just, I don't know, they had some like convenience features that I found were ahead of their
Mhm.
time. But
And to me, that's Infinity. I like the Infinity
yeah, yeah.
features. And I've said this before, I go to rent a car, I'm getting a Ford.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
I like the Ford
yeah,
Sync and the way they do all that. Like, I think it's the
yeah,
best out
yeah,
there.
yeah. It's true.
Ford or
Yeah,
Infinity to me are the best on the electronic side.
yeah. Have you seen the Lightning, the Ford?
I have not.
No, okay. Like I have
No,
not. It's their
we're in
truck,
Oklahoma,
but
man.
it's
We're powered by gas.
fair enough. Yeah,
We're,
yeah.
we're
But
natural gas and we're
I gotta be honest.
gasoline. That's what we are here.
True. Listen, I get it. I get it because I've got a
The
gas
old
car.
Ford Lightning, yes.
Okay, yeah,
That used
yeah,
to be a beast. What was it? A F-150 frame or whatever, and they powered that baby
yeah,
up. It had
yeah,
some plastic. Where they painted plastic, I think, down at the bottom.
yeah. I
Some
think
kind of
painted.
ground effects in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
The
But
original
man,
Ford Lightning.
but I'm telling you, the new one, man, the tech in there, it's crazy.
Oh, I
I
bet it
had no
is.
idea. Yeah, yeah. Like we just sold one, and it's, man, nuts, just nuts. But I don't know. Me personally, I don't think I want one. I am, full disclosure, I am looking at an electric car right now, but as a secondary vehicle, only because I have solar panels and I want to charge it from my roof, and I just want to see how that goes. You know.
I'm in.
Yeah, why not? You know what I mean? I want to
I'm
see
in.
if I could get like some summer driving for free. That'd be cool, just as a test.
I'm in.
But
Absolutely.
yeah, I have to go Tesla just because I want to support what Elon's doing. But anyways, I love my
Absolutely.
gas powered. There's something about, I turn it on, she purrs, and it just, you know, something about it. It just feels good. You know. I don't know. Like that's the thing. I think that I know they have those things with the electric cars now where it can like mimic a sound or something like that.
Yeah, Porsche does that. They have
Yeah,
a microphone that they put a speaker. I'm sorry, not a microphone. Put a
it's
speaker
so
underneath the car.
crazy, so
Mhm.
crazy. Like, I don't know. It's just it's not. I don't know. There's something about gasoline powered, like the just traditional motor. I don't know. Something about it, and
Mhm.
it's
They
yeah.
didn't win enough people over, and now they're reverting back, and they're going, well, maybe we should go hybrid.
Yeah.
But so you want to do your final tip? You want me to roll? Final tip? Go ahead.
So, okay, final tip, final tip. All right, so my final tip, as I mentioned, it's we're doing a catch-up session, and so I wanted to talk about ketchup, but not ketchup, ketchup. So ketchup as in Heinz ketchup, and so that was my very boring segue. So Heinz ketchup, it's pretty unsexy company when you think about it. It's ketchup. It's a condiment that goes on your burger or French fries or something like that. But we can learn a lot from the advertising that ketchup does. Well, in this case, that Heinz does in particular. And so, speaking with our co-op branding stuff and utilizing things that are out there in the world, and paying attention to what competitors are doing, or paying attention to what just other businesses are doing and things like that, there's a little interesting story about Heinz ketchup that I'll dive into. So, a few things about Heinz. So, first off, Heinz did this. They're known for the 57 varieties, right? Whatever, their ingredients and stuff, and that's what makes Heinz Heinz. So they did this team up venture with Gucci,
Are
Chanel,
you a
and a
ketchup
bunch of
person
other.
though?
It depends what it is. I definitely don't put ketchup on like steak or anything like that. But French fries and ketchup, I very much
Ketchup
like.
and steak? Hold on. What
Yeah,
the?
I know some people that
Hold
are
on.
crazy.
What?
They put.
That's
I'm
a
telling you,
Canadian thing. Hold on.
no, maybe, but this guy that used to work for us, he put ketchup on steak. Disgusting. Disgusting. Ruined it. Doesn't even deserve a steak, in my opinion. That's me. But
I've heard of ketchup on pizza is a Brazilian thing.
oh
And
damn, really?
I've heard through
Oh
South
shit.
America, that's a thing. Ketchup on pizza.
Wow. I don't think I mean, it already has tomato sauce. I would
Well,
just,
the tomato sauce is just a twang now, like a twangy sauce. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Although, so the island we lived in, they did this thing with fried chicken. Fried chicken was a huge thing. So you'd go out partying or
I love
something,
fried chicken.
fried chicken. But they would put on top of their fried chicken ketchup, mayo, and mustard. And they would put fries inside with the fried chicken, shake it all around, and then you would eat the
I
fries
don't
and
care. That sounds fucking crazy. I'm still in.
it
It doesn't
sounded
matter. I'm
crazy.
in.
I tried
A
it,
long day of
and now,
drinking, fried chicken, French
yeah,
fries, and all that stuff. I'm in.
now I do it at home because it was just amazing. The first time I had it, I was like, oh my God, it looked like slop. It looked like I don't know, like it just, anyway,
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
the best. It's the right mixture
Mhm.
of everything. It's just,
And the
it's
grease will
perfect.
soak up the alcohol. I'm in.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
good.
You're good to go. You know what I mean?
Mhm. That's the reason why, side note, that's the reason why after
Yeah.
you drink a lot, you crave something fatty because the
Ah,
fat absorbs the alcohol.
oh shit. Okay. Damn.
And
Wow.
it's actually good after if you maybe have consumed a little much, go ahead and, which is probably why then the cardiologists don't like people that drink
Yeah,
because the
it's just like,
sugar
and
plus
then
then
now
all
you're
the
eating this.
fat, like, I
Yeah.
mean, you know.
That's
But
true.
that's
Yeah.
why I say, hey, the best cure for a hangover,
There you
and
go.
if you're drinking,
Yeah.
just get you some coconut water and drink alongside with it.
Yeah.
Then it's good fat, and that good fat
Yes.
of of it then absorbs alcohol, and it does good. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. You're spot on. And that's actually what I do a lot as well. I get this one, it's like a little can, but it's got like chunks in the bottom. I don't know if that's the same. Yeah. Oh, so good. But even if it's let's say I just helped a buddy move the other day. And when we did that, it was really hot, exceptionally hot that day. Probably because I was running up and down with all of his shit. But anyways, he's half my age and he lifted like 4 boxes. I emptied the whole fucking apartment myself. But anyway, that day, as soon as we were done, this guy was like, "Oh, can we stop for a Coke?" I'm like, "Fuck, are you nuts, bro?
I'll get a
I'm
coconut
drinking that
water.
after all that exercise." I took him to the store and I was like, I want to make some empanadas tonight. So I got some empanada, the tortillas, and then, oh, so good too. But yeah, delicious. But that same store, I got some coconut water and he was like, what are you drinking? It's like coconut water. Trust me, drink it. He said it was the first time he had it in his life and it like game changer. Yeah. But anyway, back on track. So Heinz ketchup. So I'm not really a ketchup guy, but depends on the situation. But I am a ketchup guy, Heinz ketchup, in fact, when it comes to advertising, because they are geniuses. And so, a couple scenarios where Heinz takes the cake, in my opinion. And so, first one is 57 varieties. That's their big slogan, their big thing, right? And so they ran this campaign and they teamed up with an unusual bunch of businesses. For Fashion Week, they teamed up with Gucci, Chanel, Versace, a bunch of them. And they started taking secondhand clothes. So if someone had a Gucci shirt or something like that, they could bring it back during Fashion Week. And in exchange, they would get a discount for a new purchase. So you'd get a discount on, purchasing some new stuff. So it was a way for them to promote new sales. They would take this secondhand clothing, and Heinz produced 57 unique stains that they purposely stained the clothing with. And then they started showcasing them at Fashion Week, and people were walking down. It was in New York, and they're walking down the runway, and they've got stained shirts and stuff like that. So drew a lot of attention, and so on and so forth. And the point of the story was it obviously raised a lot of attention for Heinz, but we're seizing an opportunity that's out there. Tide started posting and taking pictures at the fashion show, and they started posting about what Heinz was doing. And they said, Heinz is great. They're putting the stain in sustainability. And when you're done with it, Tide is here to take it out. Wow. And I thought that was fucking
so
genius. Yeah, that was
Ugh.
so good. Just by seeing what someone else is doing out there. So in one hand, you have Heinz ketchup doing a really unique thing, because who would think like a condiment company partnering up with, Gucci and Versace and stuff like that? How do those two meet? So they obviously, got a lot of exposure there, and it was a great project. But then at the same time, Tide, they didn't have to do any of that heavy lifting, and they just happened to see what was happening and took advantage of it because they were aware of what was going on around them, right? So there's ways that you can capitalize on things and take advantage of them in the marketplace. And that's a lot of what we've been talking about today. Now, two other quick things about Heinz is they use a lot of social media to their, benefit. And you got to think, it's a ketchup company. Like I've never in my life gone to like a ketchup website or something. Like why? For what purpose? But they're out there putting stuff out on social media, things like that, and they have to find ways of drawing people in because it's in an industry that, like I said, is not very sexy. It's just condiments. It's stuff it's like the after stuff that you put on your food, right? It's not a very I don't know, like viral kind of situation. So they have to create these viral situations. And if they can do it in condiments, for sure you can do it for your detailing shop. Absolutely. And so Heinz has done some pretty cool things that went against the grain. So we all know about page speeds, for example, on websites. And they say, I think it's something like 4 seconds. If someone goes to your website, if it doesn't load in 4 seconds,
It
they're
ain't much. Yeah.
fucking gone, man. Yeah, they're on to the next thing. So
And
Heinz,
those of us can relate to that by could you actually spend 4 seconds?
before you, yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
fucking half seconds.
Mhm.
Half seconds.
Exactly, like milliseconds. Fucking gone. That thought is
Now
just
we're on a
working it.
website thinking we only have 4 seconds. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. And so every web guy out there is going to tell you focus on page speed and so on and so forth, right?
even comedians, they'll talk about the very first part of
Yes,
their open. It
their whole
has to
act.
hit with it. I think
Yes,
Seinfeld, he's a big proponent of this. Like, you
yeah,
only have a little bit of time to capture attention, or else
exactly.
they're
And then if
gone.
not, gone. And that's where, yeah, I don't know if you've seen that podcast, Kill Tony, where they like pull names out of a hat and they from the audience.
Mm-mm, I haven't.
People come
Mm-mm.
up and they get 1 minute of like to do a comedy set or something like that. And then if they do good, they can go on to be famous. He's had a lot of people on there too. It's a podcast. He's had like, Pauly Shore and like a bunch of people. Anyway, if they go up, you have 1 minute. If they don't nail those first like 6 seconds, even less than that, like if you don't
They don't
instantly
have much.
captivate someone, the rest, it doesn't matter what you say in the next part. It's like, nah, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
You've already tuned out. And so that's where, so imagine 4 seconds online, that's the average. So that means it's most likely less, right? Heinz Ketchup, they launched their new website because of their 57 varieties and their ingredients. They purposely made their website take 57 minutes to load. They slowed it down on purpose.
Not seconds, but minutes? Like a
Minutes.
full hour? Almost an hour?
57 minutes. But
What?
those people that waited it out were rewarded. So if you waited it out for the website to slowly download bit by bit, you were rewarded with something. And so they gave away, like some free catch up and things like that. And it was more a ploy that people couldn't believe it because it went so against the grain. Everybody's trying to make their website faster and this and that. And here it was, holy shit, it's taking an hour. So people started sharing it with everybody else saying, like, go check this website out. It's crazy. It's going to take 57 minutes to download. So people started sending it, even though it's contrary to everything you would think, but it's because it was intentional and it was done with meaning behind it, right? So they created their own catastrophe in a way, but at the same time used it as a way to, create a viral situation. So there's ways in the world that you can literally manufacture these kind of viral setups. Just like how I mentioned with Nair with the playoff legs, they manufactured the whole need for, women should be able to grow their leg hair out during the playoffs to be like the men growing their beards. You can create these scenarios where you can gain a lot of traction in your community, right? And so, community again.
Hey.
All right. So last thing I'll say about Heinz, similar to that, they did something else because once again, it's just ketchup. So how do you draw in a lot of attention? How do you get people talking about it? And so sticking with their 57 varieties theme, they released a tweet saying that they're going to release a tweet over the next 57 hours. They're going to release one character every hour. And the first person to guess what the whole tweet is before they reach the 57th character wins something. I don't remember what they gave away, but they put together this whole campaign that was going to last 57 hours. They're going to release one letter of the tweet, and the first person to guess it basically wins. And that created a lot of buzz for them as well, A lot of people started sharing it. Like, what do you think the word is? I got to get this because I want to win, whatever it was. It was substantial prizes, I remember. But they manufactured, once again, this situation where they were able to draw in a lot of buzz in an industry that really nobody pays attention to. Like, we all buy ketchup, we have it in our fridge. We may or may not use it often, but we all have it. When was the last time you went to check out the Heinz website or something like that? So they had, an uphill battle to try and draw people in. And I think as detailers, we're in a situation where we don't have as big a hill to climb, but yet we all still struggle with ways to capture that attention, to manufacture our own situations. But they are out there. And I think that what you need to do is just open up your eyes with a different lens and start looking at ways that you can, target things in your community, ways that, what other events are happening. Community, Jesus, again, I finished my last drink.
Yeah, you keep blaming me on this, but listen, I'm the one that's got to finish this episode. And how many communities are we in?
Yeah, this is where now it's my turn to put on the cucumbers, and I'm just kidding. But yeah, so long story short, there's a lot of marketing opportunities out there. If you wake up, like us, like Marshall and myself, we wake up passionate about profiling customers and looking for these opportunities. I'm assuming you're in the same boat.
Passionate? We don't like that word around here.
Well, I wake up excited to check out, what my
Much better
customers
word.
are into. There we go. Thank you. I want to find the ideal customer. I want to find these pockets of customers, people that are interested in a certain thing. And you got to think someone that's willing to wait it out 57 minutes to check out Heinz's website. It's a very specific demographic, right? However, it's people that are excited about their product. And those people will be so excited, they're going to share it with other people and talk about it and so on and so forth. But it started with them manufacturing a situation that would create that, right? And similarly, in your business, if you look around, there's going to be tons of opportunities locally that you can see, like, oh, this company's doing that, or this company's doing that, or this organization is hosting this or doing that, or whatever it is. And you'll be able to find these pockets where you can capitalize on that and you can start your own thing and manufacture something piggybacking on what they're doing. So that's essentially my bouquet of tips for today.
It was a great bouquet. It was a great bouquet.
There we go. Thanks.
It was a great bouquet.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
As others are running out.
They keep on flowing. Man, we even had like 5 or 6 tips before we even started the episode that we shared with each other. It sounds bad that we were sharing tips before we recorded. Anyway, yeah, what
they don't know doesn't hurt it.
Yeah,
use their imagination in whichever way they would choose.
Exactly. Just imagine our tips.
All right, so a lot of my tips going to be out of this last week, right? Having my partner Nick in. We spent a lot of time over the phone. We spent a lot of time like this on podcasting, but they're just getting to be together, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often. Great when it does. Well, I'm gonna flow through some things that happened with him, tie in some other stuff, and let's just see if we get to it all at the end. All right. So I said, I'll say, bear with me, and we'll get to the point at the end. Right.
All right.
He made a statement while he was here driving around, because we would go pick up cars that we were going to bring in to use. Sometimes people would drop them off, but if they were a customer of mine that was used to us being mobile,
you got to keep that convenience factor going. Yeah.
That dude ain't driving.
Yeah. 100%.
We can all understand can all understand that, right? So we're going to go pick him up. We're driving through the town, and he goes, man, you guys, and this was his second time here. He'd been here before, like a long, long time ago. I think when he was in his 20s or something. But for the most part, as his adulthood, this is his first time where he's really looking around. Okay. And he goes, wow, you guys really do have a lot of churches out here.
Yeah.
And it is kind of the startup for that world. Like, we want to think startup in business, and Is church a business? It's off the clock. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say, like,
I mean,
yes.
they have a massive real estate portfolio.
Listen,
Let's start.
the number one business in the entire world is the Roman Catholic Church. So we don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Let's just stop. We don't need to, right? It's
Fair
off the
enough.
clock. We can stop even at, right? Like, we don't need to go into all that.
Yeah.
But, right, like, we do have a lot, and this is a start. Like, if you can make it in the Bible Belt, you can then, right, go in, right. So
Yeah.
the same as what you just talked about. Can you tie into things? Wow, the next big thing to notice when you're in the Bible Belt and you're not used to being in the Bible Belt is going, wow, there's a lot of businesses that then want to say that they're Christian. Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't deny it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're right. There are a lot of churches here, and there are a lot of businesses that then tie in with the fish or something around the lingo of churches and of religion. I got to the point in my life, and so I got to this place for me. And so I've got to ask the question back to you, the listener. Is that what you want to be associated
Uh,
with? There is a point where you can believe something that then gets, right. We could say the marketers, the best thing about marketers, what they do is what they push everything to the limit. They get as much as they can. They, in a sense, ruin everything.
It's true. They push until it's saturated and then it's
So pushing.
on to the next.
So you combine that with also watching stuff with this other part of my life, which is caring for people's cars. And I see videos of this guy saying, hey, you can spray, and he's a trainer and he's promoted by certain brands. And he even has a polisher with his name on it. And he has these brands that push him. And he goes out and he pushes himself. No issues there. Zero. Got zero issues with somebody pushing their name and themselves. No issues there. I got zero. And if anybody wants to ask, I got zero ill feelings about that. Zero ill feelings about the guy. But you really, the listener, need to ask yourself, could you be tied into this big bullshit? Should you be called a detailer? So it's a hard question to ask.
Yeah, that's a deep one there.
Same as if somebody's going to go, should you be called a Christian? Should you tie your business with a religion? Should I tie my business with detailer? Because some of the biggest quote unquote, these are quotes, not my beliefs, quotes, industry leaders saying that you can spray a water-based spray. Go look at the SDS. Don't trust me. Go look at the SDS. Water is in the formula, and that this will increase a ceramic coating protection. I'll just stop right there. Dang. Shawn, I'm not even going to put you on the spot. I'm put everybody on the spot. Can you put water as a base formula onto a ceramic coating and increase its protection? Can you?
I would say no, just because of what I know about, like, how oil and water interact, for example.
Solvents are water, silicon. Yeah. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So a water-based spray and increase the protection. And this
Yeah.
guy went,
I
didn't
think the
just
only
go as
thing it could
far
do
as,
is it would only increase the applicability.
and it would increase gloss. It can increase some
Yeah.
shine. I mean,
It would make a bigger spray.
but
That's for
increase, and this was the quote unquote on the video that was released, was him standing at a
Increase the
hood,
durability.
spraying this spray and drenching down this paint and saying, if you put this on an hour or two after a ceramic coating, it will increase the protection. Now let's just pause right there. Let's just pause. All we have to do is pause. And if you believe that, okay, go your way.
Yeah. Jeez.
He doesn't stop there, man.
No.
He throws out the most insane, I don't know how you could create these numbers. And he goes 100 times.
100 times. 100 times.
200 times. Doesn't stop. I mean, he should stop. He should have stopped with it. It adds protection. He could have stopped there.
Yeah.
Should you be called a detailer?
Ooh,
what is being put out on social media about detailing? What is being put out on social media? What is being put out on YouTube? What is being put out on people's channels, on people's websites? This goes forever. He doesn't even stop at 200% stronger than a ceramic coating. And should you be called a detailer? And should you then even be using the products that he has his signature on?
Jesus.
300% stronger than a ceramic coating. Don't take my word for it. Go look at the video. Go look at the video. Should you be? I had to ask myself this question growing up in the Bible Belt. Should I be considered a Christian? Yeah. Tough question to ask. But you look about how it's being thrown around. Yeah. Should you be called a detailer? Should you call your name, the name that you're known, the way people know you as a brand? Should you be known as a detailer because an association promotes this guy? There's brands that let him sign his name, and they put out
the associations
there's this big giant, this big thing over this last week was a big YouTube thing, and there's these YouTube people putting on this SEMA S type of thing, and they let him sign his name to products that are promoted on their channel. And he's saying 300 times stronger than a coating. Should you be called a detailer with those facts? Not my opinion. Crazy. Facts out on the internet, facts being promoted, facts being sold. You could spray a car down with a water-based protectant, and it's 300 times stronger than a ceramic coating. Should you be a detailer?
That's insane.
I don't fucking know. I know plumbers who put a cross or a ichthus fish, and they screw everybody over. This guy's a detailer, and he trains detailers, and he's going to tell people a water-based spray is 300 times stronger than a ceramic coating spray? Get the out of here. Really?
Crazy.
Should I be a detailer? No. Yeah. No. Here's my tip for the day. It's not even a tip. Let's fucking go. Let's put it no.
All on the table.
Stop. I have never put on my name detailer. Crazy. Never. I've never put on my name Christian. Never. But come check me. Come check our crafted products. Come check my lifestyle. You don't have to throw a bunch of shit out to really be real. And the videos that you'll see that we put out on YouTube from hyperClean, go to hypercleanstore.com, go to YouTube. there's not a damn thing saying that you're going
Real.
to put a water-based spray that's 300 times stronger than a ceramic
That's
coating.
mental.
No, we're going to teach
That's
you how to clean a car, how to
Yeah.
properly maintain a car. Why there's an industry that's $5.08 billion in car care products that you can be a part of.
Yeah.
Don't
With the
tie
proper
into all
shit.
this other shit.
Yeah.
Don't tie into all this stuff.
Mhm.
There's marketers that
Man.
ruin everything. There are.
That's big time. You
There
know what's
are.
crazy to me? We've all seen those posts where there's a guy open up down the road, $35, and he's calling himself a detailer. Unbelievable. And they're like 50, 60, 100 comments deep about how that guy's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, we don't know what he's using, what his process is. Maybe he's just starting out and that's why his prices are low. You can't base it on somebody's prices. But in this case, you can definitely base it on somebody's claims, whether or not that's bullshit or not. That's crazy. Just from a science level, and I'm talking like basic science, it's clearly bullshit. And where are these numbers coming from? 300 times? That's obviously just made up.
300 times.
300 times stronger.
300 times stronger.
Yeah, it's what they're using on the new at SpaceX when they send shit to space. That's what they use.
So if people can do the math, they can go back and find that video. They can find out who supports them. Then they can find out who just bought them. And you can figure out who the company is that is still dancing around, and these are the owners that sold out, but dancing around on TikTok videos. Yeah. You can start to do the math and go, it's a bunch of bullshit.
That's crazy.
Should you be called a detailer? These people are getting massive views, and they're promoting this guy and they're selling the same stuff, and they're saying 300 times stronger. Some of you are actually, if you'll do the math, you'll go back and you'll go, God damn it, I'm actually using some of the same stuff. Yeah. That's not bad. I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was bad.
Yeah.
Overly promoted?
Man, yeah. Overhyped, holy shit. That's crazy. See, for me, that's so detrimental to your business because, like, you got to think you're trying to build long-term customers. I mentioned this earlier in the podcast where I know how much our customer acquisition is, and I know the lifetime value of a customer. If we're not using the right products, if we're not using the right process, everything like that, we don't have a leg to stand on. Our business isn't going to be here in the future. You know what I mean? We have to be using the right shit at the right time with the right processes to ensure that that customer keeps coming back. And people may not call you on it day one, but eventually when their shit starts failing, when the shit doesn't live up to 300 times, please believe they're going to come back and they're going to be pissed off.
300. It's crazy.
300. That's madness.
I mean, it's 300 times.
300 times. Jesus, water-based. Fuck. That's crazy. In my book, I think it's like, I don't know, the second or third chapter, I talked about my conversation when I started the shop. I was talking with my dad and I said, listen, you were a chemistry teacher for like 30 something years. Break down chemicals to me because there's a lot of chemicals out there. There's a lot of companies offering this or offering that, and they include this, they include that as ingredients. What am I looking at for different scenarios? And I had him break down. I said, before I start looking at brands, before I start looking at products, just break down to me, how does cleaning work for different scenarios on a fundamental level? If I'm dealing with like sap or I'm dealing with, a gum stain or like, who knows, just different things, break it down to me fundamentally. And he started breaking shit down. And he said, everything starts water-based or oil-based. He said, start there. And now we work out from there. And he started breaking down all the chemistry of it to me and everything. And I talk about it in my book. It's free. And everything starts there because he says one will repel the other and they will pull bits and parts out depending on what you're cleaning, And so I started there and he said, so if you're dealing with protection, you want the repelling factor, but you also want adhesion to whatever it's adhering to. And then the other side of things, he says, that's where now you want to break something down to separate the components so that you can suck it up in a vacuum or whatever the case may be. So he broke this all down for me and I put it in layman's terms. The chapter's only like 2 or 3 pages long, but it breaks it down. And so at a fundamental level, I know for a fucking fact that water-based and protection It's just funny to
Doesn't
me
equal
because
longevity. Yeah.
no, it's damn, that's crazy.
300 times stronger.
I'm legit. As soon as we hit end on this, I'm going to YouTube. Like you have no idea.
Oh, I'll send you the video.
Fuck awesome. Thanks. That's
Listen,
cool.
here's another great one, right? Not even to pick on this guy. We picked on it on the Pints of Polishing podcast yesterday.
Yeah.
The other massive car care out there talking about how you should polish a car before you wash it.
Before you wash it. Before you wash it.
And
That's
the
their
way
advice?
the way you get it cleaned before you, my bad, before you polish is to use this detailer spray. Detailer spray and wipe this car off and then polish it.
Then polish.
You should wash it later because you're going to get their dust out of the cracks. That's literally what they say in the video. I'll send you that one too.
Oh,
It's fucking,
thank God.
it's fucking wild.
That's
It's fucking
crazy.
wild.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. A big part of me wants to send those videos to our competitors, but anonymously as like a good tip. Like, here, you should do this. And then hopefully they'll do it. So all of those cars now become our car. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'll send it over.
Ooh, wow, it's amazing what's out there, you know? It's the internet's a wonderful thing because you have free information just at your fingertips. But it's also a very dangerous thing because you have free information at your fingertips. And so, man, with that being said, choose your information very carefully, folks, because you can do a lot of damage to your business, to someone's car, to your free time, to your wallet. It just goes on and on. Like 300 times. Jesus. Wow. So that's what it takes to be a detailer nowadays. So, wow. Geez, it's even easier than it was before, right? Because now you can just do anything. You know, I heard actually you're supposed to pre-soak a car in vodka before, but yeah, that's what I heard. It's a little tip. That's my last tip. Yeah, 500%. Yeah. If you
Hey,
put
listen, you put some citrus in that.
mhm,
We're not far from some drinks here. Like,
very true.
wow.
Jesus, wow, 300%. Holy shit, that's insane, man. Okay, I got to check these videos. Listen,
I'll
Marty,
check it. I'll send
appreciate
it to you.
Oh, please do. All right, man. Cheers. I'll see you next week. Guys, check out Pints of Polishing podcast as well. And be on the lookout for Marty's new videos. They will be dropping soon. So check it out. HyperClean car care. Wait, sorry. HyperClean
Store.
store. That's it. Thank you. HyperCleanStore.com. Click on the YouTube videos and you'll see videos. There will be new ones coming. And he has a product launch coming soon as well. So be on the lookout, guys. All right. Cheers.
See you, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, man. Little plug, you know? All right, cheers, bro.